Welcome to another edition of Danny's Hot Takes. Today, thank you, John. Today we're going to be reviewing the Cult of Strife supplement from Warzone Charadon. Charadon, yeah, whatever. Anyway, so let's move on with it. Let's talk about this.
Just to address real quick.
Yeah.
The salt about Drukhari getting a Codex and a supplement on the same day. Codex Drukhari was supposed to be out 2 months ago.
Okay, and let's talk about this further. Why would you put a supplement inside of a Codex? Like, that's a stupid thing to complain about. Like, the supplement is always going to be separate from the Codex. Do you think you're going to put supplement White Scars inside of, like, the Space Marine Codex? No. Like, I get why people are like, oh, well, this is just extra stuff. Yeah. It's all just extra stuff. Yeah. This is all just benefits to your army that are cool.
Welcome to the hobby. It's just a buttload of extra stuff you really don't need when you think about it. Thank you for the review comment.
Yeah, thank you, James. Thank you, James. All right, so moving on. Let's talk about these rules. So this is a supplement. You have to take a detachment of Cult of Strife in order to get these benefits. So I don't think, and I have to read this again because this is all new rules for me, I don't think you get this if you just take Real Space Raiders detachment and have Cult of Strife in it. So my plan is I'm going to take a Real Space Raiders detachment and then add a Cult of Strife patrol. Like, that seems like an easy way to get that. Plus, then I can take Drazar as the HQ choice, and I get Drazar in my army too, which makes me very happy. So yeah, let's talk about Cult of Strife. You got 3 warlord traits, you got 4 relics, and you got 8 stratagems, which are all pretty good. So warlord traits, you got competitive edge. Each time the warlord fights, if all of its attacks target the same enemy unit, after resolving those attacks, it can make a number of additional attacks against the enemy unit equal to the number of attacks that did not reach the inflict damage step of the attack sequence. So if your opponent makes all of the saves against this character, you can be like, well, I guess we'll just attack again. Which is interesting. It's not great, but it's fine. Unparalleled agility. Each time an attack is made against this warlord, subtract 1 from the attack's hit and wound roll. That's pretty cool. That's very annoying. Then you have Master Executioner. Each time this warlord makes an attack, you can reroll this wound roll. That's okay. So then we've got relics. These relics are pretty interesting. You've got Morvane's Agonizer. So this is an Agonizer, as you would typically expect to see, except it's an extra AP. It's got Poison Weapon 4+. Each time the bearer attacks, after all of its attacks have been resolved, select one enemy unit that was hit with an attack made by this weapon. You can't select a vehicle or monster. Till the end of your next turn, they can't fall back. That's pretty cool. It's a good way to lock somebody up. You don't even have to roll for no escape. I think that's very good. Garland of Spite. At the start of the fight phase, select one enemy model, excluding monsters or vehicle units within engagement range of this model. Until the end of the phase, half that model's attacks characteristic. Nice. And each time a melee attack is made by the bearer, that attack automatically hits the target. So this is cool for a reason that we'll talk about a little bit later after we see the stratagems.
It's a
secret tool. Then we have the Glaive Exquisite. So this is an Archite Glaive. It has an additional AP, or additional 2 AP, so it's -5, and it's 2 damage. Each time an attack is made by this weapon, then it targets an enemy unit with a leadership characteristic of 8 or more, add 1 to the wound roll. At the end of any phase in which the bearer has fought with this weapon, if it did not target any enemy units with a leadership characteristic of 8 or more, it takes it mortal wound. Yeah, so you should go after like hardcore targets, I guess. I don't know. I don't like this one very much.
Space Marine Sergeants, Dire Avengers.
Yeah. And then you've got Dark Lotus Toxin. Now this one's interesting. It adds 1 to the strength and damage characteristics of all melee weapons the bearer is equipped with. So this kind of lets you take like witch weapons and make them better. So you can take like razor flails. So this is kind of cool to give like your razor flails, because that'll give your succubus 12 attacks. John's just like, oh god.
Stacking Drukhari attacks.
12 attacks at like strength 4 or 5, and then you could take like Master Executioner to get reroll to wound rolls and just make her into a blender, which is probably pretty good. All right, stratagems. Hey, we're moving fast here.
Heck yeah.
All right, so let's talk about this. Art of the Kill. 2 command points or 3 command points. Use this stratagem in the fight phase when a Cult of Strife unit from your army is selected to fight until the end of the phase. Whenever a model in that unit makes a melee attack, you can reroll a to wound roll. If the unit has 11 or more models, it costs 3 command points. Otherwise, it costs 3. Or 2, sorry. That's an amazing stratagem. That is huge. Dark Eldar don't have super high strength value, especially on Cult of or Witch Cult units. They just have a ton of attacks. So how do you get around that? Oh, reroll all your wound rolls. That's fine. So this is amazing on Hellions specifically, I think, because they have multi-damage attacks. And so the ability to throw out like 40 or 50 attacks with a Hellion squad and then reroll all the to wound rolls at AP -1 or 2 is like really powerful. So yeah, that one's great. You should probably take that one. That in itself is a good reason to take Cult of Strife, in my opinion. Like it's just a very powerful ability. Then you have Dance of Death. Use a stratagem in your movement phase when a Cult of Strife unit from your army is selected to move, or in your charge phase when they're selected to charge. Until the end of the phase, each time that unit makes a normal move, advance, falls back, or makes a charge move, until that move is finished, it can move horizontally through models or terrain features. So, like, if you want to charge, like, past a unit, you can totally do that. That's amazing for 1 command point. Basically gives you fly in the movement phase or the charge phase. And these units are, like, not slow. So getting to, like, fly over impassable terrain or, like, charge multiple units and that you can, like... in that you can kind of charge over them or charge the characters that are like behind them is incredibly powerful. It's one of the best parts about Harlequins, but also witches now, I guess. Invigorated by Evisceration is 1 command point. Use the stratagem after an enemy unit is destroyed as a result of a melee attack made by a model in a Cult of Strife infantry or biker unit from your army. Until the end of your next turn, that unit has a 4+ invulnerable save. So you know that big unit of 20 Hellions that just got done smashing somebody's face with Art of the Kill? Go ahead and do Invigorated by Evisceration, and now they have a 4+ invulnerable save. Like, it just makes your units so much tougher and hard to get rid of. What an amazing ability. I really like that one. I'd say between this and this, like, it already makes them like top tier, I think, or like as far as the witch cults go, I think that makes them the choice. But other people might disagree with me. Like, Cursed Blade has got a really strong following just because the +1 strength is very powerful too.
Who cares about strength when you just re-roll all of your dice?
Yeah, it's true. The Blade Well Placed, 2 command points. Use a stratagem in the fight phase when a Cult of Strife infantry unit is selected to fight until the end of the phase. When each time a melee attack is made by a model in that unit, improve its armor penetration by 1. Okay, cool. So now buff those. So if you want to spend like 80 million command points, right? Like, let's say you want to really spend like 6 command points on your Hellion squad to like destroy a unit of Terminators or something like that. Make them AP -2 or -3. Just another tool that you have in your belt to really increase the effectiveness of your army. Deadly Exemplar. Use a stratagem when a Cult of Strife succubus from your army destroys a character or monster with a melee attack. Until the end of the battle, all Cult of Strife units from your army that are on the battlefield are considered to be in range of that succubus's Bride of Death aura ability, which means they get to reroll 1 to wound. Yep, I like that one. For 1 command point. Yeah, very good. Flawless Approach. Use this stratagem in your charge phase when a Cult of Strife infantry unit from your army is selected to charge until the end of the turn. Enemy units can't overwatch them, and they don't get set to defend or hold steady. Yeah, that's fine. It's very good against Tau. But otherwise, I think it's probably pretty mediocre. Pick them apart. Use this stratagem in your movement phase. This is 2 command points. When a Cult of Strife unit from your army falls back, that unit is eligible to charge and or shoot. So this gives you the ability to fall back and shoot or charge with 2 units instead of just 1 from the Drukhari book because they have Masters of Deception. So it just gives you some more options for what you can do. And then you have Hecatrix of the Crucible. Use this stratagem at the start of the battle. Select 1 Cult of Strife Hecatrix. That's a sergeant model from a Witch Squad. That model can have one of the following relics, even though they are not a character. Morvaine's Agonizer, Dark Lotus Toxin, or Garland of Spite. So, just to reiterate, the no fallback Agonizer, awesome. Garland of Spite, where your whole squad is going to get to... just the Hecatrix is going to automatically hit them, but you can make it so that they have their attacks for a unit. Amazing. Or just boost her damage. So those are all options that you have for her. I think that's a great stratagem, especially with the no fallback agonizer, or the crucible, or not the crucible, the Garland of Spite. I think that's very good as well. So, yeah, I think that this plays into Cult of Strife being one of the premier like combat armies in the game.
Really excited to have a bunch of Hellions and Witches.
I bet you are, John. So definitely check this out. Super great tool. If you own a Drukhari army and you have Witch Cult in your army, you probably want to own this supplement. So definitely check it out from your local store. Should be up for pre-order anytime. So this kind of concludes our this concludes our review for the Witch section of Warzone Charadon. If you liked it, go ahead and check out our YouTube page. If you really like it, you can subscribe to it. We would sure appreciate that. Otherwise, we put out content twice a week. We have a podcast, which is medium successful.
Heck yeah.
And medium funny, medium everything.
Medium podcast.
Yep. So come check us out. Anyway, have a good night.